Right, okay. I hope we've not started early on LinkedIn. We may have done, but it's about 40 seconds behind. So we're just going to get going because, no matter what time you get here, you can start at the beginning if you want. But yeah, there's nothing worse than us talking and we're so far ahead because we use StreamYard to stream this, and there is a bit of a delay in it getting onto LinkedIn. Anyway, right, I'm Adam Gordon. If I don't know you, I've been in recruiting since 1999. I'm very inspired by sales and marketing technologies and processes, and by bringing the very best of what they're doing that we're not doing and need to be doing more of and better of. And that's partly the inspiration for why we've created Poetry. I'm going to talk a bit about the product and what we're trying to solve here, and then share my screen and talk you through what it all does. I'm going to hand over to Stephen to talk about some of the things you need to do to make sure that your workspace is working brilliantly for your organization, to create the most success you can generate and your recruiters can generate. And so, Stephen, quick introduction from you before we get started.
Yeah, I am Poetry's product experience manager, which means that I try and help our customers kind of realize a vision for the platform, make it better, improve it, make sure that it is, in fact, the world's most useful talent acquisition technology, day in, day out, really helping drive tasks that recruiters need to complete every day. So I come from a recruitment background, and the main thing that I am really, really passionate about is improving systems to make them better for recruiters day in, day out, and how they use it. So, yeah.
I mean, that's literally all you've done for 5 months is
6
try
months
and make.
days.
Or is it 6 months now? 6 months. Yeah. So all you've done for 6 months is make Poetry the world's most useful talent acquisition technology.
Yeah.
So Stephen's also a part-time LinkedIn comedian, by the way. You might know him from that also. So before I share my screen, I'm going to just explain to you why we created this product. So there's two things that we're looking to do. The first is that in the 200 hours of focus groups I did last year around the subject of recruiter enablement, and the 180 or so interviews that I've done with people for the Recruiter Enablement YouTube channel, what's very clear is that recruiters spend a lot of time every day trying to locate the assets they need to complete their tasks, whether that's talent intelligence information, whether it is recruitment marketing assets and talent sourcing assets, whether it is candidate interview questions, policies, processes, and other things. A lot of this is non-candidate stuff. It's not about like managing a candidate profile or assessing a candidate. It's about where's the actual asset. And what I learned was sometimes it's on SharePoint, sometimes it's on Notion, sometimes it's in Confluence, it's in Google Drive, it's in SharePoint sites, it's in local files, or it doesn't exist. And so people are on Teams every day saying, hey, where's that policy? Where's that, logo? Where's that job description? Where's that process? Who knows how to do whatever it might be? And that's really tiresome. It's tiresome for the individuals asking their colleagues where to find something because they can't find it. And it's tiresome for everybody else having to go into this file, do this, or, well, actually, yeah, it doesn't exist, or I created one 6 months ago. Let me spend 10 minutes trying to find it. So asset management is a real challenge. And then the second thing is around the opportunities that we can get today from artificial intelligence, automation, and how we can create processes which talk together and orchestrate the things that you need. So we've brought very sophisticated technologies together into one workspace with 28 solutions, all designed to help recruiters to find what they need. And if they can't find what they need because it doesn't exist, to really easily create things that are on brand with the right context, ready to go. So I'm going to share my screen just now and talk through Poetry. Okay, when a recruiter logs in, they're at this desktop, and on the desktop you have all of your different tiles. As you can see here, Many of them are native, find colleagues, research, skills-based hiring, team learning, business cases, Boolean builder, battle cards, etc. But you can also add in third-party solutions. So if, for example, I've got SuccessFactors as my ATS, I add that to the desktop, Recruiter clicks that, it opens up. If I've got Gigged as a marketplace that we've got access to, clicks on this, opens up. We've got 140 pre-built recruitment technology tiles, which go on here and allow you to really easily from your admin area, admin, and then desktop, groups, add in all of the different solutions that you want to add in. And this is also where you can click on the cross to get rid of anything that is native in here, which you don't need. So some of the solutions will overlap with what you've got in maybe your ATS or possibly in your CRM. And so at the beginning, you will work through all the different solutions we're offering, and you will decide which are the ones we want to use, which are the ones that are overlap with something else that we've got, and you'll get rid of those. So I'm a recruiter. I'm going to be working on something I've never worked on before. I go into research, create. This is for a go-to-market job. It is a business development representative. It's based in London. It's based in, let's do a US one. It's based in Dallas. I need to understand the job. What are the main responsibilities? What other job titles are similar? What's the average salary and benefits? I also want to understand the companies that are hiring from this. What companies are the most prominent employers? It automatically knows this is the job title, this is the location. So which companies are the most prominent employers in Dallas for business development representatives? Let's do some other talent intelligence. Tell me about the workforce demographics for this job. Tell me about the gender diversity in this profession. Okay. Now I've selected the things that I want. Perform research. Here's the job titles that are similar. Here's the gender diversity for this role. Men are 64%, women are about 36%. It references where it's getting this information. LinkedIn Talent Solutions, the State of Gender Diversity report. What's the average salary for a BDR based in Dallas? How many professionals are employed in this in Dallas? Around 500 and around 200 job postings. So very high demand for these types of people. Which are the employers that hire these people in this area? The most prominent ones: AT&T, Southwest Airlines, and Texas Instruments. What are the main responsibilities? Here they are. Okay. As you can see, I got that information very, very quickly, and you can do it when you set up your workspace so it's relevant for the jobs that you hire for. So now that I understand a bit about that, I also want to understand a bit about the types of people who work in this. So I'll go into personas, create. Let's do a different one. This is an engineering job. It's a DevOps, and it's based in Los Angeles. Okay, I click generate, and now it's going to tell me what type of educational experience these people have. What is their typical work experience? What are the primary technical skills for this job? What's their short-term and more medium-term career goals? Okay, so candidate for a DevOps role in Los Angeles would likely have a strong educational background, bachelor's degree in computer science and similar, between 3 and 7 years work experience. Here's some of the skills they've got, like Python, Bash, or Perl. Short-term career goals, longer-term career aspirations. They might want to be a VP of technology or a CTO or something like that. What are the challenges they might have in their current role? What might tempt them to come and join us? It's looking at our EVP, and it's looking at their potential career pain points, and it's matching that up with a suggested response. Okay. Right, now I know quite a lot more about this. I want to find out about some of the organizations that hire these types of people that are in our sort of space. So in fact, I'm going to find some candidates first. So I'll go into my Boolean builder, create. This is a legal job. It is a paralegal based in New York City. Okay, I want similar jobs to paralegal. I'll click Inspire Me. And I want locations close to New York City. I click Inspire Me. All right, fine. Build my Boolean string, search Google. Here are a whole bunch of candidates who are potentially similar to the types of people that I am looking for. Okay, that's useful. So now I have established that a lot of these people work for a particular organization. So I can come into my battle cards, and let's take a look at the battle card for an organization they might work for. Optical Express, or maybe Vision Express, or Pontoon Solutions, and something's unplugged in here. Okay. Well, here's one, Lottie. Okay, so Lottie, here's some summary information about this organization. And over on the right-hand side, here's some more about their culture, strengths, and weaknesses. Let's add in another company. So this is for, I want to find out information about working for PwC. Oh, no, that's already in here. Okay, let's do BDO. BDO.com. Create competitor. So here's some summary information about BDO. It's an accountancy firm, 1910. Here's the people who work for the organization, where they are in the world. And now I'm also going to click Generate Insights. And what this is going to tell me is some good information about BDO's strengths, weaknesses as an employer, its culture, and its leadership, its compensation, and more. So here's some information about its culture: thriving professional community, commitment to exceptional outcomes, people first culture. Strengths as an employment, community betterment, professional development, supportive and inclusive culture. Weaknesses, competitive environment, mid-market focus, and work-life balance challenges. Okay, it's reading the internet to give me that information. Pretty useful. So the next thing I want to do is I want to broadcast the job. I'm going to go into my, I want to build a job advert, social media post, and some email copy. So I want to do it all at once. I'll go into my playbooks. This is for a manufacturing job. It's a production manager. It's based in San Francisco. And I need a brand advert for this. I need email copy, job advert, and the social media post. I now click Build Playbook. And this is just going to take a few seconds to create for me. Here's a brand advert for this job. It's now building email copy. It's now going to build a job advert, and then it's going to build the social media outreach. Okay, so let's take a look at this social media post. It's got my defined intro and my defined outro that I always want. And it's written it on the basis that it's understanding the potential career aspirations of a production manager, as well as our EVP and what it is we're able to offer for somebody like this. Let's take a look at the job advert. Okay, it's a bit more detail, of course, than a social media post. Right, so it's on brand, it's relevant, it's consistent messaging, and it's following the templates that our admins have created. I've now submitted my candidates to the hiring manager. They've said, yes, I want to see the candidates, and can I recommend some technical questions? So I'm going to go into my candidate interview area, create. This is for a zoology job. It's for a zoologist. And the location is Dallas. Okay. Technical questions. I want open-ended, and it's for the first stage. Click Inspire Me. And now what this is going to give me is 3 suggested, like, simple scenarios, technical questions related to those, and include some follow-up questions. I don't need to know. If I'm typically hiring for, I don't know, head office function jobs, I don't need to know an awful lot about zoologists to be able to market to them and assess them because of what Poetry is able to give me. So imagine your task was studying the behavioral patterns of a specific animal species in a controlled environment. How would you design an experiment to observe and record the behavioral patterns of this species? Okay, great. You're in charge of a conservation project aimed at protecting a threatened species in their natural habitat. What strategies would you implement to monitor and improve the population numbers of this species? Right, really good. I'm not going to read any more because, quite honestly, I'd love to have been a zoologist. That's just going to make me nostalgic for what could have been. But anyway, there's a lot of other things in here, such as a library for policies, a library for processes, a place to situate all of your learning around here's how we do things. So here's how we do advertising as a team. Here's how we do assessment. Here's how we do CRM. As you can see at the bottom of my screen, I've got my admin buttons, so I can easily add in to this a new learning card. I can click edit and edit this learning card, or I can delete a learning card. Okay, very easy to work with. One more that I wanted to mention is the skills-based hiring solution. Quite a few of our customers asked us for this earlier this year, so we created it. Create skills-based hiring. So this is for a home care job. It's a care assistant based in New York City. I click Inspire Me. And this is now going to tell me what are the core skills for a care assistant, what other jobs have got an overlap with these with this job. So a list of job titles that share transferable skills: customer service representative, medical assistant, support worker, personal care aide, and healthcare assistant. I mean, I think customer service representative probably takes a very different type of delivery in terms of the job it does. However, I can absolutely see that it's got transferable skills. So here are the essential tasks. Here are the essential skills and competencies, including soft skills. And here's some suggested assessment strategies. Okay, so makes the process of applying skills-based hiring across your organization, or even on a role-by-role basis where the skills are really hard to hire and you need to think creatively about how you get that job filled. Okay, there's a lot more in here, but I don't want to go into training. So I'd like to understand from you, Stephen, what are the main things that I need to do to set up my workspace to make sure it's going to give me great success and it's going to be all contextualized for my organization?
Yeah, so we actually have a really easy list to follow. If you click on that Poets Corner self-help guide on the right-hand side there, Adam, before you get started, and just have a little click on that, you'll see there that we list 3 easy steps, and I'll kind of just talk you through them now, but really it's setting up your organization structure, it's setting up your organization's preferences, and it's making sure that then you create some things for your team and, you know, do the solutions audit and things like that. So we've already talked through the designing of the desktop, right? That's making sure that that is always applicable to what you and your team want to use, what you're going to get the most use out of. So making sure that you address that first of all. Then if you head to admin and you go to org, yep, sorry, that's a reminder of what that looks like that Adam kind of showed at the start there. So if you head to admin and go to org, we have a variety of different things at the top of the kind of screen here, which include your team, job title, location, and hiring managers. As you flick through each of those, then what you'll find is that each of them have, teams is the area that you list all your kind of engineering departments, things like that in. Job titles is where you put you. Sorry, I'm dealing with a baby at the same time.
Bring her on screen. Just bring her up here. Okay. Get her on. Absolutely.
Let's go.
Completely inclusive.
Yeah.
Even if you're under 1 year old, you're very welcome.
There we go.
Poetry demo.
So she, her mother's had to run to a parents' evening, so we're.
I hope that this wee baby is getting good results and good report from the teachers.
It's the mix of having 17-year-olds and a 9-month-old in the same house. So there we go. Okay, so teams, we have where your departments are, how your verticals are organized in your business, things like that, right? You want to make sure that you then can add as many as you want in there. You can upload a CSV file into it, so you can kind of make that a really easy and smooth process. You can create any team, Adam. Choose a team, pick a team, any team. Put you on the spot. There we go. And then you're able to then add job titles to that team, right? So you can then move on to job titles and you can start to kind of work through that as well. Look, we've designed this to be really, really simple, really easy to use, really kind of, quick to set up. And it should really take you no longer than like 10, 15 minutes to either free type the ones that you want to, or upload a CSV in a couple of seconds to populate all of this. Hiring managers is really kind of optional at the setup phase, but really good for things like hiring manager enablement further down the line, where you're able to send assets to hiring managers and things like that, right? Once you've set up your org, you really want to start setting up your preferences to do with AI, your templates and things like that. So we're going to head back to the admin section. We're going to go to setup and configuration. And this is really where you'll start to go through a kind of step-by-step process, defining what your business does, what you want to say, what your tone of voice are, the things that you always say at the start and end of every advert, for example. So you got here, what are you writing? We're great or something like that, right? And then there's also language preferences in here. So we have 185 different languages, which you can really toggle in between. So all those templates at the click of a button can be relevant for specific regions and specific areas. If you move on now across the tabs at the top for me into global rules, this is where you'll do things like upload logos, put your career site in, add your EVP, things like that. These are all things that really inject and infuse personality into Poetry, right? This is what separates it from that LLM that you have open on your screen that your manager might not know that you're using, that you're trying to have a conversation with to really
Gemini.
get of, right?
Claude.
Any of the above, right? This is what this does is really, really, infuse your kind of Poetry platform with the real personality of the customer, right? So the customer, if you're an RPO, the TA team, if you're an internal team. So there's like lots of different options here for you to really, really make sure that you get that perfect, and also tweak it if it's not so much, right? And it's really the ability to kind of scale that up. Now, if you want to add some more information about you as a company, which we absolutely 100% say that you should do, you'll head to company info. You're going to add anything else in there. And company info is the ability for you to answer 10 questions. I think there's 10 questions that are really just about your company. What are your core values? What are you trying to portray in the market? What do you want to shout about and sing about and say that you're great at? What is it that you do at your core? Then there's maybe some things around what shouldn't I say? Really importantly, what am I not going to allow all of my recruiters to generate things saying X, Y, or Z? And then some preferences around images and things like that. I really want to touch on this for a second because it is very, very important that in a world of kind of AI-driven kind of content and kind of AI really, I guess, scaring a lot of people with its capabilities, the main fear of that comes from a lack of control. It comes from a lack of guardrails. It comes from really a lack of, well, I was going to use you as an example, Adam, but my LinkedIn content is very not on brand with what you would post. But, maybe a company that's a bit more established than a year-old startup from Scotland. But, if you're a world-renowned RPO or you're, one of those companies that were in the battle cards that Adam showed you earlier, the likelihood is that you have some rules and permissions around what people can and can't do. And honestly, the way it sits right now is you don't have any control over that because you don't know whether Stephen McGrath is sitting at home with something open on his screen and the ATS open on another screen and just kind of working at it from there. So this really brings all of that into the kind of company control in-house, sets those what I call Poetry guardrails and really enables success. So once you have set up your solutions, you've got what you need on your desktop, you would move on and you would set up your company, lay out all your teams, organization, thing like that. And then you would come in here and you would set up all your preferences. So once those three things are done, you can get creative. You can start using Poetry. And realistically, if you know your organization well, that can take as little as 20 minutes. If you have to do a little bit of digging, it's probably a couple of hours.
Great. Okay. So it seems like it's not particularly onerous. And we have put a very considerable amount of effort into making sure it's not onerous. It is not a heavy lift to get up and running. If I want to know what's going on in my workspace, I can click on the analytics button, and then I can click on analyze desktop usage. This is now going to show me which of the solutions are being used the most and the least. And those that are being used the least, should I be taking them off the desktop? Do we just not need them? If it's third-party solutions, are they things which we just don't need? Or is it something that needs training? So, for example, process has only been used 41 times in this particular desktop, compared to 779 for job adverts. So, a very considerable difference. Now, does that mean that people just don't know that the processes solution is there? For example, I'm doing a one-to-one with somebody. I can click on that individual and I can check out what are they doing. So, okay, it looks like Adam Gordon has done nothing. So does Adam not understand what he's meant to be doing? Or is he circumnavigating this and kind of going rogue? What's his performance like? Because that might indicate, what he should have been doing in here. Or otherwise. Another one in the analytics area is in terms of asset analysis, which is quite interesting. So if your currency is US dollars, this automatically converts to US dollars. But in here, I can see a pie chart of the different assets that have been created. And on the right-hand side, I can see the value of all of the assets that have been created in here. The biggest one by far is research. £475,000 worth of research has been generated within my workspace. And that's based on the amount of time it takes to create research outside of Poetry, times by recruiter salary, average recruiter salary, times by the number of assets that have been put into that particular solution, and the number of times that they have been copied and shared, as in used by people in the team. So there are a lot of things to see in here and make use of. Where we're going next is quite a lot more in terms of hiring manager enablement. How do I stop sharing here? Stop screen. There we go. Quite a lot more in terms of hiring manager enablement. So giving hiring managers the ability to come and see all of your assets in here when you share them with those individuals, giving them the ability to comment on those. We're also going to be starting to read your recruiter handbook and other documents that you add in here. Any PDFs that you want to upload, Poetry will read that to contextualize further for creating marketing assets and creating assessment assets, interview questions, things like that. And then the third thing is giving you the ability to, Stephen, where am I going? What was that? What did we decide was that third? That really,
there's a couple of things.
Really important one.
Yeah. So the recruiter workflow is the big one, right? Is the ability to inject Poetry into your everyday lives. That's the exciting thing for us. That's the exciting thing that we have kind of had a bit of a voyage of discovery over for the last kind of 6 months. Is your team might not respond well to new tech, and we know that, right? We've lived that life, so we understand that might not always be the case, but they do respond well to tech. That probably gives them a reward, might be the wrong way to word that, but a kind of helps them in their everyday life of doing their tasks. So in Poetry, you will be able to basically have assets sent into your inbox when you move across stages in Workday or any other kind of ATS and things like that. So really that impact where it matters, right? And hitting recruiters where they live, and meaning that I could sign up, say that I'm going to work on these different roles, raise the requisitions, and I automatically get a whole kind of playbook of assets sent to me at the right time when it matters at each stage. So that's a really, really kind of exciting development that's going to be happening imminently. We're going to start working on that.
Just as an example of that, if I set up the rec within my ATS, sends a message into Poetry and says, Adam needs this talent intelligence for this job, and they need this persona for this candidate. I then move it to, we're now at the sourcing phase. It sends me some social media outreach messaging, some social media posts, a Boolean string, and all those talent attraction assets I need. It's then at the interview stage. It sends me suggested interview questions and things like that. So it's all in my inbox. It's on a Chrome extension that I can slide Poetry out when I'm on LinkedIn, or I'm on Indeed, or I'm in my ATS, or wherever it might be. So yeah, that's the next thing. I hope that's been interesting. Poetry is for sale. The price is $100 per month per person. So if you've got a team of 10, it's $12,000 annually. I hope that it's very, very clear that this is going to save you a lot more than $12,000 in terms of enhanced productivity. And so feel free to contact us if you've got any questions. But if you want to sign up for a free workspace for one person per organization, you can do that from the website, which is poetryhr.com. Once you've signed up for that, you've logged in. That's where you can easily pay to bring on board the rest of your team and get them all in there collaborating and being well enabled and more productive and successful every single day. Thank you very much for your time. Stephen, thank you very much for joining me. See you soon.
See you.